Today, we delve into the world of Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn's The First Circle, a novel that plunges us into the harrowing realities of Soviet-era gulags and the moral dilemmas that arise within them. What makes The First Circle so compelling isn't just its setting or historical insight, but the way it challenges our understanding of freedom, integrity, and the value of human life. To understand The First Circle, we need to look at the life of Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn and the historical landscape of Soviet Russia in the 1940s. Solzhenitsyn, a decorated officer in World War II, was arrested in 1945 after criticizing Stalin in a private letter. This led to his imprisonment in a labor camp, a harrowing experience that would fuel his writing and give birth to some of the most compelling literature on totalitarianism and the human spirit. The First Circle takes place in the Marfino-Sharashka, a special Soviet prison where intellectuals and scientists were isolated and forced to work on secret government projects. Unlike the labor camps in Siberia, the Sharashka was a relatively comfortable environment for prisoners, yet it remained a prison. Solzhenitsyn uses this setting as a stage to explore philosophical and moral dilemmas faced by his characters, trapped within a system that rewards obedience and punishes dissent. The title, The First Circle, is an allusion to Dante's Inferno. In Dante's First Circle of Hell, known as Limbo, reside the virtuous non-Christians, souls who are not condemned to suffering but remain separated from paradise. Solzhenitsyn uses this metaphor to illustrate the situation of the prisoners in the Marfino-Sharashka, isolated from society, yet spared the grueling conditions of the labor camps. Here, prisoners aren't physically tortured but face psychological imprisonment, as their intellect is used to support the very regime that oppresses them. At the heart of The First Circle is a diverse cast of characters, each grappling with different moral choices and personal values. Let's meet some of the key figures. First, we have Gleb Nerzhin, our protagonist and a thinly veiled representation of Solzhenitsyn himself. Nerzhin is a mathematician and political prisoner who refuses to collaborate with the Soviet government. His stance embodies the ethical struggle of staying true to one's principles, even when faced with the prospect of torture or death. Next is Lev Rubin, a communist ideologue who genuinely believes in the Soviet system, despite being imprisoned by it. Rubin's belief in the state contrasts sharply with Nerzhin's disillusionment, and through their conversations, Solzhenitsyn probes the conflict between ideology and personal suffering. Then we have Innocenty Volodin, a high-ranking diplomat who makes a fateful choice to warn a colleague of his impending arrest. This single phone call sets the entire novel in motion, as Volodin's act of conscience triggers an investigation that shakes the entire prison system. Volodin's character raises questions about the cost of moral action in an immoral system. Solzhenitsyn's The First Circle explores several themes, from the nature of freedom to the power of conscience and the role of intellectuals in a totalitarian society. Let's take a closer look at some of the most powerful themes in the book. Freedom in confinement is a recurring theme. While the characters in the Sharashka are physically restricted, some find ways to exercise intellectual and moral freedom. Nerzhin's refusal to assist the state, despite the comfort of his prison, illustrates that freedom is as much about integrity as it is about physical liberation. Science versus morality is another complex theme. The scientists in the Sharashka are tasked with creating technology to help the Soviet regime, raising ethical questions about the role of intellect in the service of oppression. Solzhenitsyn's portrayal of scientists in moral conflict suggests that knowledge without conscience can be as dangerous as brute force. Perhaps the most prominent theme is the struggle between the individual and the state. Characters like Volodin, who act on their moral beliefs, find themselves up against a bureaucratic machine that values conformity over conscience. Solzhenitsyn's message is clear. A state that demands absolute obedience robs individuals of their humanity. When The First Circle was completed in 1958, Solzhenitsyn knew it would be impossible to publish in the Soviet Union. The novel circulated in secret through Samizdat, underground publishing, and became a symbol of resistance against totalitarianism. In 1968, it was smuggled to the West, where it was published and brought international attention to the horrors of the Soviet prison system. Solzhenitsyn's work, along with the Gulag Archipelago, was pivotal in exposing the Western world to the moral decay of Stalinist Russia. The First Circle is not just a novel, it's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of oppression. In 1970, he received the Nobel Prize in Literature, a recognition of his unwavering commitment to truth and freedom. Let's take a moment to reflect on some of Solzhenitsyn's most profound insights from The First Circle. Each quote is a window into the depth of his vision. This line speaks to the theme of betrayal and how easily small, everyday choices can lead to moral downfall. Solzhenitsyn reminds us that character is tested not just in grand acts, but in small decisions. This quote encapsulates the struggle of the intellectual in a totalitarian regime, a poignant reminder of the cost of independence. The First Circle is a story of courage, resilience, and the unbreakable human spirit. Solzhenitsyn's characters may be prisoners, but they remind us that true freedom lies in our choices, our morals, and our integrity. Through Nurzin, Rubin, Volodin, and others, Solzhenitsyn invites us to confront the compromises we make with our own principles. His novel asks us, in the face of an oppressive system, will we bend, or will we stand tall? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed today's exploration. Let's keep the spirit of truth alive. See you in the next video.